That case was informative, right? BVM, even with no oxygen, will do some good for this patient who is apnea. Okay, so let's go talk about something else. And I think it's something that we need to talk about. And I'm going to tell you straight up. Since the advent of suicide buddies, since doctors are showing up in the news, killing themselves, and now we're trying to get like buddies, like classmates in your own residency. We don't talk about attendings, but attendings should have other buddies. When you have bad times, bad times, you should have someone to help you out. When you're drunk texting, or a phone call, or face-to-face time, on Google Meeting, or on your Apple phone. Does that make sense? So why in emergency medicine and airway, we don't have a cric buddy? And I'm going to explain this term. A cric buddy is the person who's either the senior, another senior that wears in, potentially even a nurse, even a medical student, or even ideally a person you trust and a fellow attending to tell me if the SATs drop less than 80 with this rescue maneuver, the cue to say is cut now. Or why not cut now? Some may say it's too nebulous to say why not cut now, but at least the cue in your head is, yeah, you're right, why not cut now? Or a direct way of saying it, cut now. That buddy may not know anything about medicine, but I know if the SATs are dropping and hitting less than 80, something's wrong. Especially if you tell them, if I do use this and the SATs drop, or I use my supraglottic device and the SATs drop, something wrong is happening. Definitely. Does that make sense? Something definitely wrong is happening. And if that's the case, you need to do a surgical airway. That makes sense? And ideally, if you were smart, that cric buddy would be having all the essential equipment that you need for a surgical airway. A size 6 ET tube in the packaging, a bougie in its packaging, and a scalpel in the packaging. That cric buddy will be why not cut down, and we'll have all the equipment ready. And if the person who's doing the primary management of the airway is struggling, but is an ER certified doctor and credentialed to do surgical airways, you say, cric now. The answer from my partner, the person on the other side, if I was here, I would say yes. Yes, cric now. Or when he answers the question to why not cric? Yes, why not cric? That is cric. It has to be something answered back. If the other person thinks that he's ready and doesn't want it, no, I'm not ready. No, not necessary. The other person, the cric buddy, should be the person who says, you sure? Cric now. He's the person giving a cue to the other person. They don't have to say SATs are still dropping, and that should be a kicker to the person over here. You had a cric buddy who notified you at least twice, maybe 3 times, 4 times. He keeps reminding you need to cut now. That SATs keeps dropping. Okay, let's go less than 70. You need to really start being very worried about that. Your cric buddy needs to emphasize to the person here who's managing airway. You've just been given cues, not from the fates, not from a nurse, not from EMT, ENT, not a surgical resident, not an intern, not a medical student. Your cric buddy that you chose has already notified you many times that you should have done a surgical airway. Understand this? You do this too late. You do this on a person with no pulse, you have a fresh cadaver you're doing a surgical airway on. Maybe this will catch on, maybe it won't. If suicide buddy ideas are catching on in programs and residencies, even in life, the cric buddy should catch on in emergency medicine, airway management. Please come back for another episode of School of Airway. Bye-bye.